Welcome to another edition of Behind the Curtain with Jack Burkman. Remember, this is the only talk show in America hosted by a registered lobbyist. That's right, we actually said it. Can you believe it? A registered lobbyist. We are enormously pleased today to be joined by Ben Friedman, dynamic scholar at the Cato Institute, U.S. Defense policy expert, Mideast expert. Couldn't have a better guest for this topic. As you might guess, we're going to be talking all things Syria. Ben, I'll get right to it. I think this is insane, and I'll just give you my take and you can react. First of all, doing diplomacy out in the open like this, I've never seen anything so stupid. The objective, there's less of an objective than during the Vietnam War. I mean, whatever you say about George Bush, he had objectives in Iraq. You can like him, dislike him, hate him, love him. The only objective here is to pull Assad's pants down and give him a spanking like a schoolchild. There's no regime change. There will be massive collateral damage. I'm an amateur. You're a Mideast expert. I'm an amateur looking in, but this will inflame Shia Islam, radical Islam, all over the Mideast will be inflamed. We're playing right into Assad's hands, to the Iranians' hands, Hezbollah. It could open the door to Russia, quite legitimately, re-engaging in the Mideast. This is its long-standing ally. What in the world? I mean, I've criticized Obama for many years. I never thought he was dumb. Is the president dumb?
I think he got himself into trouble by saying there was a red line that if the Syrians used chemical weapons, that we would do something serious. He didn't say exactly what, so now he's sort of trapped in his own rhetoric. I don't think he wanted to bomb, but he's stuck. He thinks his credibility is on the line here, which in a sense it is. I don't think that matters very much, but it is in a way. So they have to do something. They don't want to have a war, really. They don't want to get sucked in, so they're just going to bomb a little bit, a pinprick kind of strike with cruise missiles, which I don't think there'll be, at least initially, a lot of collateral damage.
Do you support this? Would you do this if you were Obama?
No, I think it's a terrible idea. I think, number one, why should we pick this one set of weapons of murder out of all the weapons of murder that Assad has to police against? There's lots of ways civilians can get killed. Chemical weapons are morally outrageous, but civil war is morally outrageous. So why just say chemical weapons? Secondly, I don't think credibility is a good reason to have wars. I think when leaders on the other side are deciding whether or not to fight, whether or not to stay in power, they don't care particularly about past U.S. threats. There's all sorts of studies that show that. And then besides, we're going to get ourselves sucked into this war because people will say our credibility is on the line because we bombed and didn't win. The same people now saying bomb for credibility.
So we can destabilize. There's a good chance. I mean, this is a very compact area. It's small. It's not Iraq. I mean, it's not Afghanistan. You hit Damascus, I guess, first of all, you have a lot of collateral damage. You're going to have a lot of civilians killed in this. And then if you hit them hard enough, maybe you wipe out the governing structure and you have an open civil war like Libya. Is that what happens?
Well, that's what's going on now. I mean, it is destabilized, so it could get more destabilized, right? So the most likely scenario for Syria, no matter what happens, I think, is years or decades even of anarchy, of weak political order, which is bad for humanitarianism, bad for human life. So the idea that this is a humanitarian intervention, I think, is nuts.
You have so many different kinds of expertise, U.S. defense policy, Mideast. Let's go inside. So many things to talk about here. Go inside the mind of the Israelis. Regardless of what they're saying, if you're Israel, do you support this?
I really don't know. I doubt it. I think the Israelis probably think they're probably of several minds about it. They probably think, on the one hand, well, Assad has not really been a friend of ours, and the Syrian regime has been a troublemaker. But on the other hand, it could always be worse. And I think they're in a situation geopolitically where they have to be realists. And I think the realist view on this is, you think Assad was bad, wait till you see what comes next. We don't really know.
If I were Israel, I would want Syria and Egypt locked down with military dictatorships. I would never want these countries opened up. I mean, that's just nuts.
Right.
You've had them locked down for years. Israel's flourished and prospered. Why would you want madness in these countries? In Bedlam, I couldn't even. What do you think of now the Russians are making noise, and it's starting to bother me. Does this give Putin the opportunity he wants to get back into the Mideast? Am I right about that or wrong, or is there a danger, or is it?
Well, I think that, the Russians are sort of back in the Middle East by virtue of economic deals they have in the energy sector and by virtue of the fact that they're defending Syria already in the Security Council. But at the end of the day, Russia is a much weaker country than it was during the Cold War. They're much poorer. They don't have the military reach to go around, even if they did in the Cold War, which is doubtful, but they don't have the military reach to go to the Middle East and do things now. So I think they're sort of going to be blustery and difficult, but they're not really that important in the Middle East.
To wrap this up, let's talk about, now there's one big part we haven't talked about, and this is also in your expertise. Obama now is in Congress is trying to cut all kinds of dirty deals. And we always tell our listeners, we give them new information that they don't hear on cable news. We know for a fact Obama in the Senate at least is cutting all kinds of deals. He has McCain and Lindsey Graham yesterday, Sunday and Monday, over to the White House to talk about this. Here's the inside information. Here's the scoop I've gotten. He's told John McCain, you back this, and I will use you as the point man in the Senate. I won't go to Mitch McConnell anymore. I'll go to you to deal with you, to empower you as the Republican leader. That's a pretty dirty deal.
I doubt that the Republicans in the Senate will care too much who Obama designates as their leader. I mean,
well, but it means a lot if the White House says, "I'm going to negotiate." Yeah. That's the other side. I'm going to negotiate with you and not you. You're right, but it counts.
It already happened in immigration. We saw McCain sort of taking the lead. But yeah, I mean, it's politics, right? So whenever you want to get something done, you got to hand out little favors to the people whose help you need. So yeah, you're going to get little spending programs. Perhaps you might get an increase in military spending as a result of this, which I think is a mistake. So there'll be a lot of little side deals, no doubt, if it passes.
Ben Friedman, you live up to your great billing. Thank you so much. Ben Friedman with the Cato Institute, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. Thank you.